In this video, I'm going to break down exactly which is the best platform to run ads on in 2024. And I'm basically going to compare Facebook versus YouTube so you know exactly which is the right platform to use. So, this is a super important video because if you don't start with the right platform at the right time, then you're going to have a very hard time. You're basically not going to get results and you are going to be struggling regardless of how big your budget is or how good your funnel is. So, there's some really key differences that you need to understand comparing Facebook to YouTube. So make sure that you watch this video until the end because this is really going to be helpful for you, regardless if you are already running paid ads on a platform and you want to start running paid ads on another platform, or maybe you're not running any paid ads at all, but you're kind of thinking about starting running paid ads. So if you don't know me, my name is Gabriel. I'm the founder of Zeta Media. We are basically a growth partner for coaches, consultants, and course creators. And we have pretty much worked with over 139 businesses and we scaled most of them to six figures and some of them to even seven figures in monthly revenue. And we have run ads on Facebook and YouTube. We've done this, and at the same time, pretty much, we spent a lot of money on both platforms. And for some businesses, we used both Facebook and YouTube at the same time. In fact, this is the thing that we did the most. So it's pretty safe to say that I know which are the differences between Facebook and YouTube. And if you're going to watch this video, you're going to find out exactly which is the right platform for your specific case, because I'm going to tell you exactly the fundamentals of both platforms and what's going to work in 2024 the best. So with that being said, let's just get into it and let's get started. Okay, so first of all, the first question that you need to ask yourself, and this is super important, is are you ready to run paid ads? Okay, so essentially, there's a few questions that you need to answer before running any paid ad, regardless of the platform. So, number one, can you sustain paid ads, right? Do you have the budget and the cash flow for it? So, essentially, right, in 2024, especially if you have a high ticket offer that involves sales calls, for example, you're going to need at least $5,000 per month to test, and you must be, willing to kind of like spend that money. And if you're going to lose it, and if you're not going to make anything in return, be okay with that. So you need to be in that kind of place where you're, able to spend $5,000 a month, and you're pretty much not going to go hungry. This is super important mindset to have with paid ads, and we're gonna talk about this a lot more. So, is second question: is your offer cold friendly? That means that does it actually work in cold traffic? Basically, people who have no idea who you are going to convert into paying clients. So, this is actually super crucial. And your offer has to work in cold traffic and be specific in order to work on cold traffic. So that means basically that you cannot get paid ads to work without specificity. And you need to follow the 3S formula, which is going to be you're helping one specific person having one specific problem, and you solve that problem in one specific way. Cold traffic and your offer, your ads are not going to work without specificity, regardless of if it's going to be Facebook or YouTube. So this is super important. Question number three: do you actually have a proof of concept, right? For your whole funnel, for your whole process, and so on. That means basically that do you know that your funnel converts profitably? That means within KPIs organically, right? So organically doesn't necessarily mean like word of mouth and people coming back to you. Obviously, I mean, you reaching out to people or just having your funnel somewhere on the internet, and that funnel actually converts within KPIs. And you know, that means that every single step of the funnel pretty much works, within KPIs. That means that it's working properly, and that's a system that can be profitable with paid ads. And this is a very important one. And then the fourth question is going to be: does your offer slash system work organically, right? And it's pretty much the same idea, but pretty much the smartest way to validate your offer in funnel before running any paid ads is by getting clients organically. Meaning, you do outreach on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, cold email, and then you get your first few clients. That way, you get some cash in, and you also have a proof of concept over your funnel, over your offer, sales process, and everything like that. So it's still going to be a cold source of traffic, but obviously, it's much cheaper compared to paid ads, where you're going to have to be willing to put it at least bare minimum $5,000 per month and be okay with it. Be okay if you lose, those 5K, even for like multiple months. I'm not talking about 1 month only. Okay, you have to be willing to do this for like freaking 4 months. So super important because running paid ads is really like putting gasoline on a fire, right? It's like a magnifying glass. So that means that if your funnel is not converting well organically, if it's not within KPIs, then if you just start running paid ads, things are pretty much going to explode in terms of like your funnel's not going to work. If you get a lot of clients that are churning and people are not happy on sales calls and you just cannot close calls, obviously what's going to happen on paid ads, you're going to get a lot of calls. You're not going to be able to close them. You're going to get a lot of people to churn and so on. So I think you do get the point. But basically, what happens at a low scale will happen at a larger scale, specifically when it comes to you starting running paid ads. So if your funnel doesn't work organically on cold source of traffic, it's not going to work on paid ads. Period. Okay, you need to change it in order to work on paid ads. So super important. That's the first phase. The second one is what you basically need to do actually before running paid ads. So first of all, you want to make sure that you have the budget. So again, minimum, bare minimum for 2024, $5,000 per month. Um, and be comfortable with losing it. Secondly, is you need to track everything accurately, and for that we use Hyros, a third-party tracking platform. It's super good, but you basically need to make sure that you are tracking everything accurately, and that you keep a track of all the numbers from your funnel and from your sales part of the business, basically. So you also want to leave room for testing. And essentially, when you start running paid ads, you want to have like a scientific approach, right? When you're testing something, you want to keep all the variables the same and essentially test one variable at a time. So basically, again, when you start running paid ads, you have a lot of variables such as audiences, funnel, headline, VSL, sales script, and so on. There's like a dozen different variables that you're going to be able to test, and you need to take the scientific approach, and you need to have a thesis and go with that thesis, test it, see exactly how it goes, test it for like a few days depending on your budget, or like a few weeks, and then see what are the results, and then based on the results you basically improve the whole thing, and then you go to the next step and you scale and so on. So you have to take a scientific approach if you want to run paid ads profitably. And then obviously the next thing is you want to make sure that your offer is scalable from a fulfillment point of view, meaning then you can pretty much reach $3 to $5 million per year without your offer breaking. Now, I've made other videos about offers. If you want, you can just check my channel and you're going to see other videos about how to actually build an offer for cold traffic that's going to work on cold traffic. But its point is you need to have a scalable offer if you want to make it work for cold traffic paid ads, regardless if it's going to be Facebook or YouTube. And then obviously you want to know your number, meaning how much are you willing to pay per book call? How much are you willing to pay per live call, right? So actually, calls that are going to show up. How much are you willing to pay per qualified call? So meaning a prospect that is your exact ideal client. How much are you willing to pay per sale? So if you don't really have the answer to these questions, then you're pretty much not ready to run paid ads, okay? Because first of all, you need to really, really, really understand your numbers, and you need to know exactly, okay, how much am I willing to spend for a certain action? And because, by this, essentially, you're going to know if paid ads are working or not, right? So super important to have all the answers to these questions, okay? This is the second phase. Now, let's actually get into the differences between Facebook and YouTube ads as platforms, okay? So I have here a table where I pretty much talk about the differences. So let's start with the first one, which is easier initial targeting when it comes to audiences, okay? So which audiences can you actually target using Facebook versus Google? So easier is going to be Facebook, okay, compared to YouTube, because on Facebook you have a lot more options when it comes to audiences. You can target basically pretty much whatever the hell you want. So it's much, much more easier to target on Facebook, especially if your offer is super specific compared to YouTube. Okay, so that means that Facebook is basically going to take this point when it comes to this. Ease of ad creation. This is going to be taken by Facebook as well at this point, okay? Because on Facebook, you can pretty much create an image with, in Canva, with AI, whatever, slam some text, and then you start running the paid ads, you build a campaign, and then everything is pretty much live. Whereas with YouTube, you have to go ahead, you have to film the ad, you have to edit the ad. It's going to be a video. The video must be done in a certain way. You must make sure that the audio is on point, the video is on point, editing is on point, everything is on point, and pretty much your creative is super important when it comes to YouTube ads. When it comes to YouTube ads, pretty much the creative is 80% when it comes to the results that you're going to get. So ease of ad creation, this point is going to be taken by Facebook, okay? AI targeting, meaning the algorithm and how well the algorithm is going to optimize and also how fast. Super important one. So this point is going to be taken by Facebook as well because essentially Facebook optimizes a lot faster compared to the Google algorithm, which is obviously going to be YouTube ads. So on Facebook, again, we can get results a lot faster, target a lot easier, create creatives a lot faster. But now we're talking about targeting specifically and how the algo is going to optimize. Facebook takes the point here. It's just way faster to get Facebook ads to work, and they optimize a lot faster compared to YouTube. YouTube really takes a lot of time. I would say between 1 and 2 months to really optimize and to really kick in. Sometimes it takes even longer than that. Obviously, it depends on the ad budget, but YouTube just takes a longer time to optimize, regardless of how good your funnel is, of how good your ads are, and so on. It's just about the algorithm and how well it optimizes. So that's that. Facebook takes the point. Now, easier to scale. This point is going to be taken by YouTube because typically what works for Facebook at a lower scale is not going to work on YouTube. Is not sorry What works on Facebook at a lower scale is not going to work at a higher scale, right? So that means basically you have something that's working on Facebook and you increase the budget, and as soon as you increase the budget, the numbers are going to change a little bit. You're not going to be as profitable as you used to be, and the campaign can even break. Okay, so that means that Facebook is not, so easily scalable. That's a very good one if you want to scale. But on YouTube, typically what works at a lower scale when it comes to final results and so on is going to work at a higher scale as well. That means that if you have a campaign that's working really well, you pretty much duplicate a campaign, create more similar campaigns, crank up the budget, and you're pretty much going to get the same results, on YouTube. Now, obviously, pretty much the same results. I'm not saying that you can infinitely scale on YouTube. There's going to be bottlenecks, but to a certain extent, YouTube is much more scalable compared to Facebook. So here, YouTube gets the point. If you just want to scale, YouTube is a great platform for you, right? Now, when it comes to ad approval and consistency, obviously YouTube takes the point here because on Facebook, and Facebook is pretty much notorious for this. You're going to get a lot of ad accounts, shutdowns. You're going to get your account banned, ads disapproved. You really have to be careful about how you mention things, and you really have to be compliant. So there's really like a pain in the ass with Facebook when it comes to this. But whereas with YouTube, you don't really have this problem. Now, again, you can still have issues with YouTube when it comes to compliance and with your landing pages, for example, or your website if you have some weird things going on. But um, overall, YouTube is way easier to run ads on if your offer is not super compliant. If your copy is not super compliant, you're not going to get your ad account shut down, and you're not going to have these problems on YouTube. So YouTube takes the point when it comes to this. Now, when it comes to less competition, super easy. YouTube takes the point from here. Facebook is super competitive. There's a lot of offers out there because there's a low barrier to entry. So YouTube is a lot less competitive. Now, YouTube is still competitive. Okay, do not get tricked by this. YouTube is still competitive, but compared to Facebook, it's pretty much a blue ocean when it comes to offers. Now, which are the best products to sell? On Facebook, honestly, you can pretty much sell anything from software, physical products, e-commerce, vitamins, whatever you want to sell, you can do it on Facebook. However, on YouTube, typically info product offers, courses, high ticket offers, coaching offers, programs, and so on, even e-commerce a little bit. These are the type of offers that works the best with YouTube, and they pretty much work hand in hand with YouTube. So these are pretty much the key differences. Now, again, on Facebook, you can pretty much run everything. Now, when it comes to best for beginners, hands down Facebook. Why? Because it's easier to target, easier to create ads, easier to scale. Easier to optimize the ads and optimize. Basically, the algorithm is going to optimize a lot faster. You are going to get results faster. So, Facebook is basically best for beginners. YouTube, not so. Now, best for scaling, again, is going to be YouTube, right? Because YouTube is much more scalable, it's much more stable, and it's just much better compared to Facebook when it comes to scaling in particular, right? Now, best for veterans, hands down YouTube, right? Because if your offer is cold friendly, it converts well, your funnel is converting well, If your offer is the right one for YouTube, if your funnel is the right one for YouTube, if you know exactly what you're doing, if you know how to target, YouTube heads down is way better than Facebook. So that's that. So these are basically the differences between YouTube and Facebook. And again, with YouTube, it's great and simple to scale your business to the next level if your ads are already working really well, right? If you want to do like 500K a month or even a million a month, YouTube is a great place to do that. It's great to target broad audiences with general offers, and we're going to talk about this in just a minute. But basically, YouTube is a broad platform for scaling, so it's really good for scaling. In other words, it really works best for the big niches in industries, right? So huge total addressable markets. We're going to talk about this in just a minute again. And also something very good when it comes to YouTube, you have really high intent buyers, right? And advantages for Facebook, it's very easy to start with Facebook ads when your business is new, basically, and you don't have a lot of experience. Or if you have an offer in a very unique industry, you can target that. Okay, you don't necessarily have to worry about the total addressable market not being big enough, or the fact that it can't really target that market. You can with Facebook, right? And you can get super cheap leads. Now, in theory, and I mean practically as well, most of the times YouTube is more expensive compared to Facebook when it comes to lead costs, click through rates, and so on. Although sometimes it can be much more profitable compared to Facebook, right? So these are the key differences. Now let's go on and talk further about this. So super important, okay? Do not try to use the same funnel that works on Facebook on YouTube and vice versa, because what works on one platform is not going to work on the other. Okay, so be super careful about this, because I see a lot of people, they have a funnel on Facebook, it works, then they just wake up and they're going to be like, oh yeah, I want to run ads on Facebook, I want to scale to the next level, and they just copy and paste the same funnel from Facebook on YouTube, and that's simply not going to work. Okay, people are in different states of mind when it comes to Facebook and YouTube. So first of all, on Facebook, they just want to get some dopamine. That's it. So with Facebook ads, what you really want to focus on is pattern interrupt, right? And dopamine. I should better say pattern interruption and dopamine. Super important. Whereas on YouTube, people want to learn something new or they want to get entertained. So that means that the best ads on YouTube are going to be both educational and entertaining at the same time. Okay, so this is absolutely key, super important. So that being said, let's just break down what types of offers are going to work on YouTube versus Facebook. And let's get started with YouTube. So again, YouTube ads are great for mass market B2C type offers. So, for example, health and fitness, dating and relationships, make money online, spirituality, biz op, and these niche, these like super big niches. Okay, these are the types of offers that work best on YouTube ads. YouTube ads can also work for B2B as well if the total addressable market is big enough, right? So, for example, agency owners, coaches, course creators, experts, and so on. These are huge markets which are essentially B2B, and you can make this work on YouTube. However, your YouTube ads are not going to work well if you're trying to target someone, super niche like luxury yacht interior designers in the Mediterranean, right? Total addressable market 500. Another example are going to be like independent coffee roasters in Scandinavia. There's going to be like 1,000, really. Another example, which is like these are actually crazy examples, but I think you do kind of get the point, right? You don't have to go super niche. So these offers are not going to work on YouTube ever. So do not try to run YouTube ads if your offer is super niche or if it's not either one of those two categories. So B2C type of offers, mass markets, examples here, or B2B if you're in a huge market like these ones from here. So if you're not in any of these two categories, I would rethink YouTube ads. I wouldn't really necessarily run YouTube ads. So in terms of specific funnels, YouTube ads can work for low ticket entry, like for example, 7 to 97 offer that goes to an upsell thank you page, and sales call, we're going to sell a high ticket offer. So essentially, you need a high ticket offer to make YouTube ads really work for you. Okay, and obviously the direct high ticket offer route, YouTube ad, VSL, and sales call. Obviously, where you sell a 5 to 10K offer. Bottom line is you need a high ticket offer to make YouTube ads really work for you, because otherwise you're not really going to be profitable. So it's super, super difficult to make this work. unless you have a high ticket offer. When it comes to YouTube targeting, things are a little bit different compared to Facebook, for example. Essentially, you want to start super niche first, like remarketing list, YouTube audiences, then after this custom segment search, custom segment interest, and so on. Essentially, with YouTube targeting, you want to start closest to home. So if you're just wondering, okay, what do I target on YouTube? You can just pause this video and take a look at all these audiences. You want to start from the top, and as you scale, add more audiences and going to the bottom, because you're going to start from super niche to broader. Okay, this is specifically talking about targeting and audiences. Okay, when it comes to YouTube, so that's about YouTube. Now, when it comes to Facebook, you can pretty much run anything when it comes to offers. Okay, that's the deal with Facebook. Offer in messaging, though, will be the biggest levers for getting the best results on Facebook, because again, it's a very crowded space on Facebook. A lot of people advertising, so your biggest levers are going to be your offer, how unique your offer is, and the messaging. Okay, essentially, when it comes to targeting on Facebook, is pretty straightforward. You want to start by targeting quality lookalike audiences based on customer list, for example, like previous leads or book hauls, or hyper niche interest if you do not have custom lookalike audiences. So you cannot target lookalike audiences on YouTube. You can though on Facebook, and these are the two best audiences that you want to be targeting on Facebook in order to get the best results. So these are essentially some of the differences between Facebook and YouTube. Now let's talk about engineering your funnel for profitability, because before you go in and start running ads on Facebook or on YouTube, you really do have to understand how to actually engineer your funnel for profitability. So essentially, you want to know your numbers. You want to know exactly how much are you willing to pay per client, how much it costs you to acquire a client, to get a book haul, and so on. And essentially, you want to know how much you can spend without being in trouble, right? Without going hungry. So benchmarks specifically for YouTube: click-through rate 1 to 2%, view rate 20% or higher, CPC between 3 to 5 in the US and 1 to 2 outside of the US. And these are basically the metrics for a VSL call funnel. You can just pause this video, you can take a look at the metrics, and I'll also put a link to this Google document in the description down below this video if you want to check it out. But these are typically the metrics, okay? Now, when it comes to Facebook, and I've also included like sales metrics in here, these are typically going to be the metrics are going to be different as compared to YouTube, because obviously it's like a different platform. So here on Facebook, we're going to have CPM, click-through rate is still going to be pretty much the same. CPC still going to be pretty much the same. Outbound CTR, cost per outbound or link click, and then you have other things in here. When it comes to the funnel, is going to be pretty much the same. 15%. Here's the cost per lead that you can expect from Facebook. Obviously, the VSL watch rate, in case you have like a high ticket offer, needs to be 30% plus. And then cost per qualified book call, this is like super important benchmark, is going to be between $100 and $300. Now, obviously, it totally depends on your niche. If you're in a super competitive market like e-commerce or like coaches and consultants, you can expect to pay upwards of like $400 per book call. That's normal, okay? But typically for Facebook is going to be between 100 and 300. And obviously, when it comes to sales, because you want to be keeping a track of sales as well in order for this whole thing to be profitable, you want to pretty much be closing at 25%. And here are the show up rates for both B2B and B2C. So that's pretty much it. That pretty much wraps up this video. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, because YouTube is going to show you more videos like this, and you're going to learn, you're going to learn a lot of new things. So you'll be able to implement in your business. And I invite you to subscribe to this channel, because I'm going to be posting more videos like this every single week. And you're going to see more videos like this, which hopefully are really helpful to you and are really helping you. So I'm going to be posting more videos like this. And if you are a coach, consultant, or a course creator, and you essentially want to scale to 6 and even 7 figures in monthly revenue, or if you just want to, scale your business, get some more customers and some more clients, then down below in the description of this video, I have a link to my VSL funnel, where I basically have a video, simple video, where I basically explain exactly how the offer works. We do have a pay for performance offer. So just for you to know, the link is in the description down below if you're interested to seeing exactly how we can help you and how the offer works. Now, I don't really care if you click it or not, but just for you to know, it's down in the description just in case you want to check it out. So with that being said, guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.